Hi, my name is Joe Payton, founder and operator of Chesapeake Story Tours based out of Chrisfield, Maryland in Somerset County. As some may know, history is very important to me and my family. I do genealogy with my mother, grave hunting and cemetery restoration with my son, and historical projects with my daughter. And I also share stories and videos on social media to promote the fascinating history of Chrisfield and Lower Somerset County. Tours are growing and people seem to enjoy what I share, so I get great enjoyment out of being able to do this. However, making this particular video doesn't make me happy at all, and actually quite the opposite. It makes me sad to have to do this, but if I don't make this video and things stay the same, I'll feel worse. Please watch, for you will see this video is more than just history. It's about the future and how our elected officials can try to change the future through history. This video will ask two primary questions. Is it about history or money? For over 10,000 years, Native Americans have lived all across America. Their culture was quite different from anything we know today's times, but they hunted, fished, and farmed, not unlike what many still do today. But something that makes the way of life special is the natives lived at one with nature, taking only what they needed from the earth. For example, when they killed a deer, every part would be used. They built towns, had families, played games, and had celebrations just like we do today. When the early settlers encountered the natives around the Chesapeake Bay area, they labeled them as savages, though the natives probably felt the same about the Europeans. Within a few years after Jamestown was founded in 1607, traders were interacting with the Indians on the eastern shore. In the southern area of modern-day Somerset County, Maryland, along the Pocomoke and Tangier Sounds, tribes like the Marupsco, Quindaqua, Anamessex, Minokan, and others lived together as a united group. And areas in Somerset are still known by these names. From the very beginning, Europeans learned and adapted things from the natives. One particular item was the canoe. Using the methods learned from the natives, colonists made canoes themselves, eventually adding a sail and widening the canoes, adding multiple logs. This evolved and in the 1860s resulted in the creation of one of the iconic Chesapeake Bay oyster boats, the Bug-Eye. This boat was first built on the land that was once inhabited by the Anamesseq Indians. So many things can be attributed to the natives, including our culture. What's sad about the story of the natives is that after thousands of years of living in this area, their way of life vanished in just over a century and a half. The Native Americans who lived in this area were mass murdered, corralled like animals, and endured many unimaginable acts against them from the European colonists. This is in addition to their heritage and culture of their entire race being virtually wiped from history. There are groups of people, most of whom are of Native descent, that are currently dedicating themselves to preserving and sharing the story about the Native people who lived in the area. They just want to make sure their story is not lost. They do demonstrations on how to make canoes, arrowheads, clothes, and in essence, just teaching about how their ancestors lived. These native descendants are very protective of their history, and if we think about it, it's right that they feel this way because their history is all they have left. During the 1990s, many groups began petitioning the federal and state government to be recognized as legitimate Native American tribes. Some groups had honorable intentions, and others wanted to be recognized so they could obtain grants and open casinos. No matter the reason, government recognition resulted in massive funding. One group in Somerset County who claimed to be the Akahonic Indians has tried for 2 decades to receive government recognition, in spite of their claims being opposed by many historians the entire time. One person, named Don Manyfeathers, accused this group of cultural theft. And if we think about it, this is exactly what it is this group claiming to be Akahonic Indians are wrong. Many Native American experts and other types of historians and students of history, including myself, have found no evidence of the Akahonics ever being in Maryland. And many experts have provided their opinion on this group's claim that the Akahonics were a Maryland tribe. And Thomas E. Davidson, an authority on Maryland's Eastern Shore Indians, who is now chief curator at Jamestown Settlement in Virginia, said, "All the evidence shows Virginia was the center of gravity for the Akahonics." Dr. Helen Roundtree, Ph.D., Professor Emerita at Anthropology Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. She's one of the most qualified Native American expert historians today. Here's an excerpt of her biography from the Virginia Museum of Natural History. And a native of Virginia, Dr. Helen Roundtree is widely acknowledged as a leading researcher and writer on Virginia Indians and one of the leading researchers on the East Coast tribes. Dr. Roundtree began researching Powhatan Indians of Virginia, both modern and historical, in 1969. End quote. I'll spare the viewers of this video the 3 minutes it would take to list all of her degrees and titles. I will, however, share a few of the comments she made about the claim that the Oconomowocs were ever a Maryland tribe. I have serious problems with the history currently posted on the tribe's website. She continues, whoever researched that history for the tribe apparently could not take in what either the original eyewitnesses' records or the scholarly book said. The last excerpt I'll share from her is, there is no documentary evidence that the Oconomowoc territory extended as far north and west as the Anamessic River in pre-contact or contact times. Instead, the limited documents indicate that the Anamessic Indians, which is how the residents are called, were allied with the Pocomoks. There is no documentary evidence at any time for the Oconomowoc changing their name or having it changed by others to Anamessics. I feel it's important to share the statement of one more person, someone who was once a member of this group, claiming to be the Oconomowocs. His name is Michael Apperti. And a 2008 article says that the history of the Oconomowocs on the tribe's website is not accurate. It's a phony. I know because I wrote it. At first, this whole situation perplexed me. I kept asking myself, why would this group claiming to be the Oconomowoc persist for over 20 years trying to get state recognition when other Native American groups don't have it or seem concerned about it? And I asked one Native descendant about why the group he's with wasn't trying for state recognition. He replied, I don't need to be recognized by the state. I know who I am. So I'm asking myself, why would politicians support this group claiming to be the Oconomowocs in spite of the lack of evidence and ignore the opinions of the most prominent Native American experts? Why, I asked. Then the more I researched, the more reasons I found why this group was so persistent and why they were receiving political support. Matter of fact, I found over 2.2 million reasons why. This group claims on their website that the Oconomowoc territory included the Chesapeake Bay home villages of Anamessic River at present-day Crisfield. It also states that local colonial people referred to our people by the Anamessics, or the name of the river where they lived. Well, there's a problem with this. Official Maryland records disagree with the Oconomowocs' claim. The king of the Pocomoks went to St. Mary's in 1686 to protest the treatment they were receiving, and it listed some of the tribes that belonged to him. Among these tribes were the Anamessic Indians. This alone proves that the Anamessic Indians were a part of the Pocomoks and not an Oconomowoc tribe. Now, something that should be noted is that there was a group that preserved the history of the Pocomoke Indians. To say the Anamessic Indians belong to the Oconomowocs without publicly providing evidence is stealing the culture and history of the Pocomoke Indians. In 1988, a formal group was formed under the name Pocomoke Oconomowoc members of the remnant bands of the American Indians of the Eastern Shore. This group was named such because there were leading members who resided in both Maryland and Virginia. The Maryland members represented the Pocomoke Indians, and the Virginia members represented the Oconomowoc Indians. In March of 1994, the chief of this Pocomoke Oconomowoc tribe disagreed with some of the bylaws that had been changed in his absence, particularly the admittance of people into the tribe without providing proof of their Native American heritage. This is when the Pocomoke Oconomowoc tribe split, and the Oconomowoc side formed a new group calling themselves the Oconomowoc Tribe of the Powhatan Nation. They announced in November 23, 1994 newspaper that they were holding a meeting to elect its first chief since 1776, and that the Oconomowocs in Maryland were called the Anamessic Indians. The Oconomowoc tribe of the Powhatan Nation held a meeting on December 1, 1994, where the chairperson was questioned by those in attendance to her proof that the Oconomowocs were a Maryland tribe. The article states that she refused to answer the questions and even asked an audience member to leave the meeting. In 1996, this group made a statement that it was reassembling its genealogy and acquired federal funding to hire genealogists and other research to attempt to prove this group as a legitimate Maryland Native American tribe. And so let me put this in perspective. I think I'm a Native American, have no proof, and the government will give me tens of thousands of dollars to try to prove it. In 1998, 1999, and 2000, this group received $206,334 for grants titled Federal Acknowledgement Process and Creation of Economic Development. In addition to these grants, this group received over $2.2 million from 1996 to 2009 under the following titles: Social and Economic Development, Job Opportunities for Low-Income Individuals, Organizational Administrative Infrastructure Systems Development, Bending Water Park, and Authentic Living Village. And even though this group's website doesn't mention anything about how many jobs that have been generated from these grants issued for that purpose, we can find something on the Office of Government Accountability's website. It states that the Department of Health and Human Services has initiated action to enforce federal financing reporting requirements for the Akahana Indian tribe. It continues, the Akahana Indian tribe reported spending over $1 million in federal funds from 3 different federal programs administered by the department. The department sent letters of inquiry about the delinquent financial reports. The HHS website also states as of August 2016, the department had not provided any additional funding to the tribe, and the tribe still had not submitted its required financial audits for the funding discussed in our report. On this group's website, we find other initiatives that have been undertaken by them. In addition to the 2017 powwow being canceled, the museum and the village, which is Bending Water Park, and the trading post have all been closed as well. Now, here's the kick in the gut to the taxpayers. This group received a minimum of at least $740,102 for Bending Water Park. In July of 2017, the property was assessed at $48,600. And on November 3rd, 2017, the 33-acre Bending Water Park was sold for just $5,000. Think about this. Over $2,200,000 in government funding. Somerset is the poorest county in Maryland, and ask yourself how much would have helped our area. When I started researching the history of this group, I was looking for the why. Why was this group so interested in receiving state recognition, and why did politicians support them even after being presented evidence they were not legitimate? In February of 2017, it all came together. I found the answer to the why in an article published in the Daily Times and USA Today, where the chief of this group is quoted as saying, "It seems like we can't get any grants anymore. With state recognition, we feel some supporters may come back." Well, on Tuesday, December 19, 2017, the ceremony was held in Annapolis after Governor Larry Hogan signed an order to recognize this group from Somerset County as an official Native American tribe indigenous to Maryland. Elected representatives for Somerset County were in attendance showing their support, and even though Governor Larry Hogan was not present, he signed the order that Maryland will recognize the group that claimed themselves to be the Akahana Indians. Now they have their state recognition. How many more millions will they get of hard-earned taxpayers' money? Look at these pictures of the ceremony for this group receiving state recognition. When you look at all the smiling politicians and backslapping, think of the millions of dollars that's been wasted by this group. Think about it this November when you vote. But the most important thing I want you to think about is the truth. If this group's claims are true, they should publicly disprove their critics. The state of Maryland should provide proof as well. If they are a legitimate Maryland tribe, there should be large celebrations to commemorate them receiving state recognition, as it should be. If evidence is not published, it should be overturned. If it is not overturned, our children will never learn the truth about Somerset's Native American history, and a history where men, women, and children were slaughtered and stripped of everything, and a history of a people who gave us so much.